You're listening to the Hill Brothers Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Hill Brothers Podcast. My name is Nathan. To my right is Alan, and we are your Hill Brothers. Welcome into the Hill Brothers Podcast, number 11. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Just fine.
That's good, man. As a matter of fact, everybody's watching this on Friday. Well, it's coming out on Friday. I don't know if everybody is watching it on Friday, but this Friday is January 17th. And that is a special day because that is this feller's birthday. Happy birthday to you, buddy. Happy
Thank you.
The big 55, man. How's it feel? How's it feel, dude?
Well, despite all this gray, it's not 55, it's 36.
You've been rocking gray since you were 13, dude. You've been a little salt and pepper fella. Where did you get that from, by the way?
Probably Nana and Paul.
Yeah?
I think, they're, if Nana didn't dye her hair, she'd be completely white-headed by now. Or is completely white-headed, I think.
Yeah. I am. I have a little. I've got the blonde going that is starting to turn darker and darker every day, which is very saddening. I don't want to be brown-headed. I don't. Nothing against the brown-headed people, but I don't want to be daggum brown-headed. But daggum, I got like me and you both have this like little like ginger thing pop up in the beard. I think mine's a little bit more prominent than yours. Unfortunately, I would much rather be like dark like you. I mean, you got the gray in there, of course, but I would rather be like more black.
You see
than well, you've been like that since 18, dude. You've been like that since friggin'
brother.
You were graduating high school with some gray and some silver in there. You old is that wisdom? Isn't that what the old folks always say? Like, oh yeah, that's just my wisdom.
You can just call me the silver fox, son.
Oh yeah, the shiny speckled raccoon is Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dude, I've got like ginger and brown and dirty blonde, and I have pulled now 4 white silver hairs out of this thing over the last little bit. I'm just a cesspool. I'm a cesspool of daggum nonsense, but that's okay, I guess.
People gonna be like, "Oh, you're only 36. You don't look a day over 52."
Oh man, that's why I like when people say like, me and you look so alike. I'm like, really? We do? Because like we have different colored hair. Our facial features are a little bit different.
Yeah, I got some fat going on, and I'm getting some fat deposit in these cheeks, like Peter Pan in the movie Hook. There you are, Peter.
I thought you'd gotten injections. My bad. I didn't know that was natural.
No, that's naturally. That's what Reese cups and Mellow Yellows at 9 o'clock in the morning every day will do for you.
That's right. Oh man, I've got a big old snout here that I've got going on, and I have this random freckle that's on my lip that I grew a few years ago. I don't understand that. I don't know. I got just freckles in random places. Anyway, hey, we're a Tar Heel outfit, aren't we? I think we're a Tar Heel outfit.
Well, we're definitely not a beauty. We're not a beauty consultant.
That's no joke. We're not a Merle Norman over here. But as a matter of fact, I know I'm rocking a little bit something different today. I've got my Rams stuff on. As many of you know that have watched the Hill Brothers, obviously you guys know I'm a Ram on Saturday, but I'm a Ram on Sunday as well, as my LA Rams are getting ready to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, evidently in a blizzard.
Sweet.
That'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I don't know. I'm very
the
curious
battle of the
to see how
running
this
backs and
and Saquon has already torched us once this year, so this is going to be a very interesting game. Hopefully the winds aren't that bad. That way we can throw the ball to Puka Nacua and everybody else. But I thought I'd rock this for today. But we've got some North Carolina stuff to get into tonight, birthday boy. And I think we should start with a topic that you talked about today, as we're recording on Thursday. that you talked about today, the Diamond Hills, North Carolina baseball that starts in less than a month with the opening opening weekend series against Texas Tech coming to town right here at the Bosch. Me and you both are going to try to get there if at all possible. I think
Yeah.
kids are out of school that day and everything else, so we might have a chance to be able to do that, man. But baseball's coming fast. It's getting here quick. I'm looking forward to it. You kind of, me and you spoke about this on the phone today, but you did kind of call me out a little bit saying that, hey, Nathan's not normally a baseball fan, but he has become a North Carolina baseball fan. And that's completely true. You would not catch me watching any MLB games. Nothing against people who do that. If that's the kind of thing people like, then that's the kind of thing you like. I'm a college guy,
Go
especially in
Braves.
North Carolina. There you go. Go them peoples. Let's talk about, let's break down a little bit into this. Alan, you talked about a lot of the roster and everything. I want to quickly ask you, and I've actually got the roster right here. I've got it on me. Um, Give me your top 3 players for the baseball team this year that you're looking for going into the into the season.
Regardless of position.
Regardless, doesn't matter. Who's your top 3?
Um, Luke Stevenson,
Yeah.
Jason DeCaro.
Yeah. Ooh. Is it Vandy? Gallagher?
Yeah. In between Gallagher and Tyson Bass.
Tyson Bass. Okay, tell me a little bit about this Tyson Bass kid, because he's a transfer, and I don't know much about him at all. You seem to be pretty excited about the kid, though. What have
Yeah.
you been hearing about him? What? Hold on a second. You
Um,
talk about him. I'm gonna pull up his spot here. Go ahead.
let's see. Tyson Bass. He is 6'3", 205. Out of Lucama, North Carolina. He averaged
He's a homeboy.
um three in the 2023 season, had an average of 329, 54 hits, 59 runs, total 99 bases. Uh, Lots of power, lots of speed.
Outfielder.
Yeah, outfielder. Probably I think he's going to end up playing right field from what I've gathered about. From what I gathered from what Coach Forbes has said about him. Well, North Carolina has him listed at 6'3", 211. That's probably closer to it.
They may inflate those numbers a little bit. You know how sports are with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where was he at originally before he came? Because he's a grad student.
North Carolina Wesleyan.
Oh, okay. As a matter of fact, isn't I think North Carolina Wesleyan? I think they've been pretty decent. I think
So
I
yeah.
could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I believe I remember seeing where that team had been pretty solid. I'm going to look that. I'll look that up while you're talking about him.
Yeah, he bats right-handed, throws right-handed. Apparently has a cannon for an arm, so that should be interesting in right field. Runs real fast, not as fast as Honeycutt. Has a significant amount of power. I don't think he'll hit 30 home, well, basically 30 home runs like Honeycutt did. Just trying to because you lost your entire outfield in Casey Cook. I can't
Van.
remember Nafio's first name. And obviously you lost Vance. So, you got 3 new outfielders, all I can't remember the center fielder's name, starts with a K. Yeah, That's the guy that they said was playing center field. Coach said was playing center field.
Is he one of the
Tyson
new guys?
June. Uh, starts with a K. You said you had the roster pulled up.
Kellis, Rom Kellis,
No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't seem
or
right.
Kane Kepley. Kane Kepley.
Kepley. There you go,
Yeah.
Kepley. Yeah.
By the way, North Carolina Wesleyan last year went 36-13, 17-4 in their conference, 21-4 at home.
Yeah, so Tyson Bass was the Westland what Vance what last year to what Vance was for North Carolina. You might as well say for his 3 years in
Yeah,
North Carolina.
power hitter.
Yeah, he's got good power. I don't know if he has Vance Honeycutt power or Luke Stevenson power. Um, but I mean, you can't do Tyson a disservice by comparing him to. I mean, it's going to be like comparing somebody to Brady Manick. Um, you know how that goes.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do know what it's like to compare somebody to Brady Manick and it not end up
So
being good for me. We'll get there.
I mean, Coach, you can't ask him to be you know. So
Okay, hold on a second. Re-say that again.
you can't ask Tyson Bass to be Vance Honeycutt because he's not Vance Honeycutt.
Right.
Doing that is unfair to Tyson. He's going to be his own player. He's going to bring his own attributes. So, but I mean, from all things being said, he's a fantastic player. Um, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't.
It's go- it's
You
going to
know,
be addition
holding.
by it's going to be addition by subtraction. You lose Parks Harbor, but you get Hunter Stokely back.
Yeah,
You lose Casey, you get Vanderbrake. You lose D'Onofrio, but you're going to need Gallagher and Madera to step up their production. Um, and then Kepley and can't remember who he said was playing left field. Jesus, I should have wrote it down. I just listened to it again yesterday.
I haven't. I actually haven't listened to any of it yet. I actually didn't realize that he had um that he had done an interview. He did one with D1 Baseball, as a matter of
Well,
fact.
this one was back in December with Inside Carolina.
Is Perry Hargett? Is he the one that's playing?
Uh, Brother, I can't
Or
remember. I have no clue about the left fielder. I just knew
yeah,
I just remember what I did remember about the center fielder was his last name started with a K.
yeah. I remember if it was Reese Holbrook because senior outfielder. That might be
No,
if
I
it's
don't. I
Holbrook.
don't believe it
It's,
was. No,
it wasn't Holbrook.
I don't believe so.
Well, dude, I mean, like the team. It's number one. They're starting at number 6 in the country, which is huge considering. We did lose a lot. My favorite player, Dalton. I mean, outside of Vance Honeycutt, of course, is Dalton Pence. I just love
Yeah.
that dude's moxie. We last year during the South Carolina game in Charlotte, we got to be right there with them, and um, Bryson, your son, he got to get his ball signed by many of the players like Osuna.
Oh
Daggum,
yeah,
who
I
else did he get
forgot
it signed by?
we lost Berto too. So that's another big time power hitter.
Yeah, he had eligibility, but it was only if he transferred down to D2 that he had it. So he obviously did that, but I think he ended up going to like the best baseball team in D2.
Yeah.
And that's where he's at currently, which, hey, hey, that's understandably so. Um, so I mean, that's cool. I'm looking for I I'm looking forward to see, how this team's going to be shaped. Now, if you listen to D1 baseball, and we'll kind of get to talk about this for a second. D1 baseball come out and said today there was an interview with one of the, I don't know, people like writers that do a synopsis of each team. They said that, Carolina baseball may be one of the most complete teams in the country with no, I think they said, discernible weaknesses.
Weaknesses, yeah.
To that, what do you say? I mean, to me, when you lose guys like a Vance Parks, D'Onofrio, a Dalton Pence, when you lose guys like this, that's hard to replace,
Mhm.
in my opinion. It's extremely hard to replace. So, what do you think?
Um, as a fan, you would hope that you get more consistent production in the batting lineup from top to bottom. Maybe not so much as power, but just the ability that 2 or 3 singles in a row, get somebody on base, then hit 2 or 3 singles. You know, with the ability to knock them around, and not so much be a boom or bust with like this guy's coming to the plate. He's probably either A, going to walk, B, strike out, or more, or have, really hit that home run. Um,
Right, right.
and
The
and
batting, like
Vance
the
kind
top
of,
of the batting order last year was just so freaking stacked, dude.
yeah, I mean, and it was straight power. It was, I mean,
Yes.
outside of, well, I mean, Casey Cook obviously had power, but Casey Cook was the guy that could get you that double, that single. And then also, if you made a mistake, he was going to make you pay by sending it over the fence. And Vance got a lot of criticism because he struck out a lot, and
Power hitters typically, like Luke Stevenson was also one power hitters typically do. Like Osuna did nothing basically in our playoff run, you know,
yeah,
just because,
um,
power hitters, you have to live and die by that. That's one thing I have learned.
um, because they have the ability to change the game with one swing, but at the same time, it's either a fly ball, a ground ball, or a strikeout. Now, what Vance did, Vance did have the ability to garner walks. He would,
Yes.
he would take some pitches, whether good ones or bad ones. And sometimes he got, rung up on some some good pitches, or just some bad calls. You just it's baseball. But he did get a knock for striking out too much. Um, and but I mean, you saw him. He had that one base hit that found its way again. Was that West Virginia? Was it West Virginia that he had the one base hit that scored a run that was really needed? I
That
think
was
so. Or
Madera.
was that the Virginia game? That was the Virginia game.
Yeah.
Where Vance had the base hit to break the tie. So I mean,
Yeah, the
that's what
cardiac heals there during the playoffs last
um
year.
that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking to see from this team. Can this team win games by getting base hits and not getting getting wins by hitting 5 home runs in a game? I mean, I think they hit close to 120 home runs last year. That's insane. That's a lot of home runs. That's a
Yeah, that was
ton
a
of home runs.
ton. And
I'm not sure how
a
many,
lot of them ended up coming in the playoffs. A ton of them came
and
in. I mean, a lot
I'm
of
not sure how
walk-offs.
many I'm not sure how many Tennessee hit. I know they hit a god awful amount of home runs. Um, there's a couple other teams that hit a god awful amount of home runs. and that's the thing. That's the thing about baseball. It's all about launch angle. You hear this thing about launch angle and speed. The speed of the ball off of the bat.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking to see. How is this team going to win games? Is it going to be, your pitchers are locked down and all you got to do is score 2 or 3 runs and, the pitchers can take care of the rest? Or can you get, 1 through 9 and your batters are going two for four, 3 for 4 with, you know, two singles and a double and a single, and then you just get your runs by just by being just getting consistent base hits.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, there's tons of ways to win a baseball game. You can either hit them all over the fence, you can play small ball, and or you can we don't need a home run. We just need a single. We just need to hit singles. You hear it all the time in other sports. We don't need you to hit the home run. We don't need you to make the big play. We just need you to make the routine plays. Just make the routine plays.
Right.
In baseball, that's all you need. You just if if you can hit the ball in the left field or right field or center field and get on first, and the next guy can do that, and the next guy can do that, then the first guy that did it is scoring by the time the third guy did it.
Oh, right. Right.
Um,
Just create yourself
so
a nice little chain of just simple little hits, man.
yeah,
That's it.
and North Carolina lost games. North Carolina lost games like that last year, where they were just
Right.
I think it was the Florida State game. Florida State literally just singled them to death.
Yeah. Yeah, and
But
I think it got
that's
caught up a little bit in a couple of the ECU games. When you needed to just get a chain going, they just couldn't do it, and East Carolina was able to do that. One thing I thought that
that
was pretty
game.
cool, ACC baseball announced this. The Twitter page over there on X announced this a couple of days ago on the 15th. It says more ACC baseball coming to you soon. We are excited to announce the launch of ACC Extra with at D1 Baseball. ACC Extra will feature exclusive analysts and content or analysis. I don't know why I said that. Analysis and content highlighting ACC baseball throughout the 2025 season, launching next week. And also, looking for the actual. I thought I had it sitting right here, but I bet you I can pop up through ACC baseball. But ACC, yeah, at 8 there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ACC teams in the top 15. Number 2 Virginia, number 6 North Carolina, number 9 Florida State, 11 Duke, 13 NC State, 14 Wake Forest, and 15 Clemson. So ACC baseball looks to be potentially pretty good this year. Um, teams like Wake Forest last year started off preseason number 1, and they did not end up living up to that whatsoever. So, preseason rankings, while they are cool, they're not. We'll find out if they end up being true.
Yeah, I mean they're cool, and Wake Forest. I mean they made it to the. Well, I don't think they made it out of the bracket in the
No, I think
regionals.
they were. I think they were a first elimination. I think it was
But I
against
mean
South Carolina too, wasn't it?
that was NC State. They played South Carolina.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did I forget who beat or who beat Wake Forest?
Um, but I mean that pitcher they had, certified ace.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, certified ace.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so I mean, we'll wait and see. I think North Carolina's going to have a lot of flexibility in out of the bullpen. I think, I think the pitching is what's going to carry North Carolina at the beginning of the season because you're going to have some experienced arms that's been there, done that. And then
Yeah.
you're just going to wait for the offense to catch up. It's a long season. Um, you just want to have a shot at the end.
That's 100% right, man. And as they get prepared for the season, nutrition is probably a big thing for them right now. They're making sure that they're nice and bulked up, but also lean. And I
Yeah,
always wonder, especially like during the bulking up period, like Alberto Osuna, man, he was huge. Luke Stevenson, big, big burly as some gun. I'm
and
sure they need, huh?
and Luke is a left-handed hitter, so I mean that fence is real short in left field.
Yeah, it is, and we know that
If
very well. We were on right field when that ball came flying over our side.
no, that's what I meant. He's a left-hander, right field. The right field fence. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. The right
Yeah,
field fence is short. Yeah, Casey Cook hit that foul ball right at me.
yeah, that was awesome.
That I picked up, and like 2 pitches later, he hit the next one over the fence.
Yeah,
Um,
that was against Miami, wasn't it?
Miami, yeah.
Yeah, because we happened to be there for a spring game, football spring game.
But
Which
yeah,
hope to be there again this
yeah,
year.
all he has to do is, you know, get get the get the timing. He struggled a little bit as a hitter. Still hit 14 home runs. I mean that just attests to his power. I mean he has legit power, like more probably the most power on the team.
You're
He
right.
probably had the most power on last year's team. Um, but he's just got to find a way to to translate it more. Um,
And he's got to continue to be strong. And like I was saying, with
well,
nutrition and everything, he has to continue to be strong and big. And they got to figure out ways to feed this man and what to feed him. And I bet he's eating a ton of calories a day as he's trying to bulk. I don't know if he's doing a dirty bulk or not, but I bet if he is, I bet he's pretty. I'm about positive, Alan, that he's probably chowing down on a Nieces pie. Who wouldn't want to do that
mhm,
each and every day when you have
that lemon
such
pie is good.
the scrumptious goodness and the sweet potato-ness and the lemonness and the breads and all the good things that you can get over here at Nieces Pies and Sweet Treats. Be sure to go to www.com or www.com. There's some stuff in the
www.com.
middle. There's some stuff in the middle of those wwws and the .com. It is niecespies.com is what you need to go to, and you need to go over there right now, and you need to go order all the sweet, delectable goodness. I'm a big fan of sweet potato pie. We've had the lemon cream. Our good
I
pal
love
Tori
that.
does
I
a
love
lot
that
of
lemon
amazing
cream, boy.
things. A lot of amazing things with those pies when he makes them, and you get them when they arrive at your door, and you get the thing and you put it in the oven, and then you hit the bake to warm it up, and when the random little worm things start popping out, you just pluck those out. You don't need those. And then you get it out of the oven, and you cut the thing, and you just start to indulge in what's the matter with you? What's wrong with you? No? What?
The random worm things.
Yeah, you didn't have the he didn't have the you didn't have that one in yours? No?
I know.
Was that
No,
me?
no, no. I didn't have worms in my pie, bro.
No? Oh, well, maybe I just got maybe I just yeah, never mind. When you get the thing and you put it in the oven, and you cut down the center and all the ooey gooey,
We're gonna have
the
to work on this ad
steam
read.
and the steam and the what's the matter with you? I'm telling them about the Nieces pie. You had the Nieces pie? It's good stuff.
Yeah, I've had the Nisi pie. It's good stuff, but I didn't have worms in my pies.
Well, anyway, if you don't it's added protein. That's what they put in Luke Stevenson's pie. That way he
No,
can
no,
get
no,
big
no,
and
no, no,
strong and hit
no,
the
no,
baseball. No,
no, no, no.
no, no.
He's definitely Coach Forbes said he is very fit and very strong.
Well, they probably
That
gave him the
stronger.
HGH. Anyway, get your Nieces pie, www.niecespies.com. All your sweet treats and goodies. And, and I'm going to get out of this transition.
Coach Forbes, I promise that this if you're listening, he doesn't have to be included on the interview that you come on to do. I don't know why he's accusing your players of being on HGH. Oh my god.
Hey, I just,
Definitely not.
anyway, basketball's cool.
Basketball's won 4 in a row.
Yeah, basketball's done a really good job. They've decided to start playing like, well, a basketball team.
He's blocked a couple shots.
Jalen
He looks
Washington
like a
has
worm.
decided to break out and
He's
say, "Hey, I'm a big man and I should act like a big man. So let's do the things we have yet to cover." Now, you have talked to our good friend Linzel over there at 94 feet of UNC
hey,
about,
94 feet of UNC, Lindsay.
yeah. Hi. You have talked to him a little bit about basketball on our program over there on his program. I have yet to
Haven't been
speak
on his
about this
program.
team. Haven't? I thought you had.
No, I haven't made it over there yet.
Oh, I figured you'd been over there by now. Well,
No, we
anywho.
have conflicting schedules.
Oh, that is right. Everybody records at different times. But I haven't personally talked about basketball because the second I started watching this team, they threw me for a loop. They went up to Memphis and they just destroyed them in a scrimmage. It was close there at the beginning
Yeah.
of the game, but then in the second half they just absolutely blew them out. And then Carolina comes out and plays the Elon game. We talked about the Elon game, and then they just started playing weird. I mean,
Weird.
no offensive consistency, no movement. It was stagnant. It was dribble, 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 panic. It was all these different things. But now Carolina basketball through. I mean, don't get me wrong; they did play a hard non-conference schedule. But Alan, I want to ask you your point of view about. We saw what Carolina basketball started off the season being. Very much just what I just explained there. Wow, you know, over the last few games, it feels like just this automatic just switch has been flipped, and now Carolina basketball is playing with consistency and with fervor and pace and tenacity and all the good little beautiful things. What has happened over the last few games, ever since the Notre Dame game, that has just rocked Carolina's world? I got to teach you about production.
Okay,
Anyway,
yeah, basketball. Okay, so what do I want to say? Jesus Christ. Basketball. Okay, yeah. So basketball. Okay, so yeah, they've had a hard non-conference schedule. Um, that's correct. Hard non-conference schedule. That gummit, Nathan. Jesus Christ.
what I do?
Nothing. Okay. Yeah, North Carolina's had one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country.
You're right. I don't know still.
Okay, so you saw what happened to Kansas. They got down huge, then they come storming back. And that in the comeback, they played like a man possessed. They played like their hair was on fire. They played extremely good defense, got out in passing lanes, got out in transition, was able to score easy buckets. Okay.
They played like the team that we've been seeing over the last 4 games. Anyway,
Um, and then North Carolina took the lead with 4 minutes to go. Then it got back to, well, what do we do? When Kansas stepped up their level of play to get back into the game,
yeah.
and it got a little harder on defense. And Kansas wasn't quite as careless with the ball. Can't they were able to score. Then
Got to the foul line.
Kansas's defense, ratcheted up another level, to that championship level of play. North Carolina really didn't have an answer because they would try, and then they would just look to R.J. Davis. Well, R.J. Davis this season really hasn't found his way, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
He's not scoring the ball at the rate that he was. I mean, he's taking 20s, in between. At that time, he was taking around 20 shots a game and still only scoring 10 to 15 points.
Yeah, they kind of started to play like they did last year, but RJ
Um,
had to be the catalyst for it.
um, and that, then they went to Maui,
Yeah.
come back and, played the same way, got down big 21 to Dayton. Came back to, won that game. Wasn't close with Auburn. Um, Michigan
Michigan
State,
State.
was in it, and then just had another meltdown. So, and that's pretty much been the season up until 4 games ago. Now, this could be because of the quality of competition, because the ACC is not very good.
Mm-mm.
Um, but they're they haven't played to the level that they played against, like the second half of Kansas, the second half of Dayton. They haven't had to play at that level because they haven't been down 20 some odd points. But what they
Right.
have done is they've raised the floor of their play. They haven't had to go to the ceiling per se, but the floor at which they played, they have raised it. So they're coming out and playing with more intensity, more focus, more desire than normal. So you're getting a more consistent team, but at the same time, you're not having to see the North Carolina that played against the second half, like I said, the second half of Dayton and the second half of Kansas, because in order to play that level of basketball for 40 minutes, I mean, you're playing to the level of exhaustion. Every that
Right.
your players are just going to be exhausted at the end of the game. And for certain games, that's probably going to be required. If you play like that, the second half of Kansas and the second half of Dayton, the entire game against Kansas and Dayton, you're probably winning the game. Same way if you play that way, if you play, you might play that way against Auburn and you might still lose. You might play that way against Duke in about 2 weeks, and you might play the game of your life and you still come out on the losing end. Some teams are just more talented and more gifted. Height is a gift, and North Carolina is not very tall.
No, no, they're not.
Um, but North Carolina has increased their play. I do. If this is the North Carolina team you're going to see on a night in and night out basis, this team is a tournament team. And when you get in the tournament, the tournament is a game of matchups. If your bracket lends, if your road to the Final Four or your road to the Sweet 16 is, you know, the teams that you face, if they match up well with how you want to play, then it doesn't matter if you're 7 feet or 6 feet. If your team can exploit the other team, then you're at the advantage.
Right.
But as soon as you get up to one of these freaky athletic, freaky long teams, if that's in, I mean, even if it's, you know, Sister Mary of the Poor in the round of 64, if they have, some tall athletic kids, North Carolina's automatically at a disadvantage
Right.
because they don't have a lot of those. I mean, God bless Ian Jackson scoring 20 points for the past 5 or 6 games. I mean, he's really coming to his own. And I think that's helped North Carolina because now RJ doesn't have to do it. And RJ hasn't been doing it, so it helps that RJ doesn't have to do it because he hasn't done it.
Well, I think another thing too is the simple fact that North Carolina had okay, they came into the season expecting RJ to be this ACC player of the year, national player of the year, and contender, this, that, and the fourth, like he was last year. And this year, it doesn't lend itself to that. And now the team went into a frantic panic of, holy cow, who's going to be our scorer? Who's going to be that guy? And Seth Trimble held it for a little while, and RJ held it for a little bit, and it's kind of bounced around at times throughout the team until eventually Ian Jackson, a guy who came into the season on the bench, kind of like I figured he probably would, and Drake Powell as well, have now learned, they've gotten into the season, they've gotten into it. Now they're starting to figure themselves out, and it lends to more scoring options. And Carolina's had to find themselves more or less offensively than defensively, because Hey, they couldn't. I mean, if we remember these games, they would be down big time early in games. I mean, early, already down. Like the game would start and the team would, the opposing teams would score for get 8-10 point lead on them, and then they would just fight it and have to try and come back on it at the very end of the game. And that's just the way the first half of the season went up until right here over these last 4 games where they didn't have to do that. I mean, the wins that they had to come back on. Let me count them. They were in a dogfight with Elon. Obviously, American. They won. Hawaii. They had to come back on a Hawaii. They had to come back on Dayton. They had to, and these are just wins. I'm not talking the losses. Obviously, we know the comeback against Kansas that ultimately fell short. Michigan State. You came back against Michigan State and sent it to overtime. Didn't finish that one out. You really wish Elliott would have hit that layup. Alabama, that was just a butt whooping. The Georgia Tech game was one that you battled with throughout, and you were at that game. That you battled
They
all
didn't play
game,
good.
and
That's
it
not
was
a
an ugly.
good Georgia Tech team.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. You were able to get the win. LaSalle, you obviously destroyed them. Florida, you came all the way back on Florida. And because Florida was beating you like a Cherokee drum, and you ultimately lose that game. UCLA, you got the win there by 2, but you had to come back on that one.
Yeah.
Campbell, as Campbell. Louisville, you got the brakes beat off of you. And then the last 4, you didn't have to come back against Notre Dame. Well, you had a lead. You got a 13-point lead, and you lost that one. And brought it all the way down, and you had to win off of a 4-point play. Thank you, Elliot Cadeau. SMU, you the last 3 you've played good, solid team ball, and one of them was a rivalry game, and that's at NC State, and you won that game. So Carolina's had to find themselves offensively big time, but and with that has brought. I honestly believe Carolina has a bad issue, and Roy Williams would hate it. Roy Williams would hate this issue. Oh man, we've all heard the stories of how Roy Williams handles stuff like this. But North Carolina, when they can't score, did you ever notice, like in the very beginning of these games that they would play like their heart depending on it on defense for like the first 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden they only had 2 points up on the board, and the other team's got 8, and it's just like defense goes down, then they go down big time, and then for some reason they come out in the second half and find themselves offensively and defensively. There you go. Well, now
Confidence.
Carolina's able to find, Carolina's found their confidence offensively because Drake Powell and Ian Jackson have shown up to the party. Jalen Washington is a guy that over the last few games has started to resemble somewhat of what we heard Jalen Washington was supposed to be, this big-time rim protector that was a scorer. He still can't set a screen worth anything. Nobody on this team. It's not hard. Get yourself in position, set up, screen, and when the guy falls into you and he bumps into you, make him run into a brick wall. I mean, stonewall him, and then do either you're going to roll to the basket or you're going to pop for a 3, whichever way, doesn't matter. But for some reason, it's just like the second they go to set the screen, the person they're screening isn't even touched them yet, and they're like already trying to roll. I'm like, what are we doing? Just pick and then roll. It's simple. I haven't figured that out, how nobody on this basketball team knows how to do that. Especially when you got guys like Sean May standing right there. Like, come on, Sean. Somebody, for the love of God, Armando, come back and just teach a master class. I'm going to take you 5 minutes. He's balling out, by the way, for the Memphis, whatever that is, Sound or whatever it is over there, the G League affiliate or whatever it's called
Popping
now.
them threes, man.
But Carolina's starting to find themselves, and I believe a lot of it has to do with the identity That they're starting to figure out this year's offense. They're not able to run last year's offense, and considering what was it? It was 2 nights ago against. I'll pop this back up again against Cal. In that game, here we go. RJ Davis went 2 of 9 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
He finished with 7 points. The team won by 26. 79-53. You got 15 out of Elliot Cadeau, who Elliot Cadeau could definitely score, that's for sure. 20 out of Ian Jackson, who's just been doing his consistent thing. You only got 5 out of Drake Powell, and you got 6 out of Jalen Washington. He got some rebounds, an assist, a block, steal, all that good jazz. 12 from Trimble, 7 from Vin, and 5 from Jalen Withers. This team is this team is showing that, hey, you're having to guard more than just RJ Davis. And teams early in the season were able just to key in on him. And if you can't pick and roll, that makes, RJ's job so much harder because everybody's hedging the screens. And everybody's chasing him down. And he has nobody to kick to because this basketball team will not throw the ball into the post. Will not do it. Elliot Cadeau did it on a prayer against State, and it worked. That being the dunk from Washington to seal it. That and Washington's block. Just disgusting, by the way. But I like where this team's going. They have a couple of games until you get to the Pitt game. The Pitt game is where they're going to get their first big test, and then right after they go to Pitt, they come back and they go to Duke. So they got Stanford. Well, this goes up on the 17th on Friday. So technically tomorrow, if you're watching this on the 17th, on the 18th against Stanford at home, they're at Wake. Then they got Boston College at home, and then they go at Pitt January 28th on a Tuesday. They come back home, and then they go up the road just a few miles to Durham on the 1st. That's that Saturday. So, I mean, by the way, I love that I'm sitting here looking at the ESPN thing right now, and it'll show the game. It says, date, opponent, time with the network, and also tickets. And it says, tickets as low as $81, $25, $48, $23. And you get to the Duke game, tickets as low as $1,658. I love it so much. Oh man, that is a Duke, North Carolina. Tickets as low as $5.99 if you get down to the one at Carolina. There you go.
Carolina has more seating capacity.
They have a ton more seats. They hold 19,000. What does Cameron Indoor hold? Like 2?
No. I think it's not much. It's like a high school gym.
Yeah, it's freaking small. But Carolina's got some stuff that they can continue to find their rhythm and everything else before they get to that Pitt game. Because and honestly, I'm glad they're getting the Pitt game before they get Duke. Because they, in a perfect world, and let me preface that, in a perfect world, you go and you're able to continue to find your rhythm against Stanford, Wake, Boston, or BC, and then you get to Pittsburgh, and then you ramp up like, hey, this is our first real big test. We're away. We're hard testing the ACC. It's a road game. You ramp yourself up to get to Duke, and then it's like when you get to Duke, that's ultimate on the road hostile environments.
Well, don't get it twisted. Wake Forest is going to be hostile.
Right. Yeah. Wake is always crazy. So, Carolina can put themselves in a good position to prepare themselves for Duke. And Duke's going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder when they play against us this year because they got swept last year and they want revenge, and they've got Cooper Flag. So, and Malin Watch, as you like to say. So,
Mama.
Malawa. Malawa. You know who that
Oh,
sounds like?
somebody off Moana.
Well, first off, it sounds like the noise you make before you vomit. Malawa. Just before you get that out. But it also sounds like one of the recruits that Bill Belichick has brought in, by the way. Bill Belichick has been on the road recruiting, doing the one thing that people said that he would not do. Bill Belichick, Billy boy, he'll never go into people's homes and out to high schools, and he'll never recruit. Well, by God, he's not only recruiting and running the interstates and highways over here in the great state of North Carolina, but he's also recruiting in Germany and whatnot. Now
What?
Germany
Wow.
and other places
Man's went
overseas.
international. I'm
He's
sure
went
his girlfriend loves that.
international. He's like, you know what? Bump you. I'll not only recruit in my own state and my own country. I'll recruit in yours too. And as a matter of fact, we're talking right
Come
now.
on
He's in
down.
DC. He's in DC and also in Baltimore tomorrow on the 17th, recruiting as well, recruiting transfer portals. If you guys haven't saw, if you're listening to this on the YouTubes, you guys can go check out all the portal update videos that I've been doing as of late. I've got all of my notes right here. I'm getting ready to do a full once these last couple of transfers get done and get finished with. I expect one to commit Saturday, but it looks like we have 4 that are potentially getting ready to pull a trigger that are visiting North Carolina this week.
He's going to go after
And
Derrick Henry if he wants one more year of eligibility.
Yeah, I wish Dagum if they would just come out of pocket and pay the crap out of Amari and Hampton a little bit more and figure out a way to convince him to stay. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But we have been covering this stuff like absolute crazy, dude. I don't. It's been nuts. But Bill Belichick has currently, as we speak, has 16 new transfer portal players that have committed. I expect that number to rise to 17 on Saturday with the DB out of Washington. All signs point to him coming. And I think it'll happen. I really do, especially since the North Carolina and Bill Belichick just pulled Armand, their defensive backs coach out of Washington. The guy coached under Steve Belichick and his staff, and he come down. He's a great recruiter, a great developer in the DB room. Washington has had one of the best secondaries in the country over the last few years because of this guy. And I fully expect that his people will follow him, as we've already had Peyton Waters come, Jason Robinson come. There's another one somewhere. I can't remember his name. Kamari House. You've had him as well. He's like a linebacker DB hybrid. He's an interesting kind of fella. That guy is. So good number of
Crazy.
Washington players following him. Alan, from what you have saw, how do you feel about Belichick, his portal class, and everything?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Nathan. I think I'm done with this hat. It's getting on my nerves.
There you go.
Let the locks flow.
As a matter of fact, let me read a comment that we got the other day, and I told the fella that I was going to use it because, quite frankly, it was it to me summed up this entire thing absolutely perfectly, in my opinion. This is from at wishing b 5859. It says people seem really cynical, but Bill has brought a lot of energy and passion and publicity already. I don't know what he will be able to accomplish in a single year, but I do think he would change the program at a systemic level. Kind of talking about and for what I took it as is, you see the players that are coming in, they play with effort and energy and passion, and they look like they just give you every single bit. of everything they got, and that's something that Carolina football has lacked.
So you want me to give you my
Just
thoughts on?
yeah, just pick up from there.
Um, I I like last year's roster better.
Really?
I mean, think about it. Power Eccles, Elijah Huzzy, Marion Hampton, Willie Lampkin. Who else am I missing? Kamen Rucker, Travis Shaw, Des Evans. Those are 7 key guys.
You can take Des Evans off that list. And you
That
can replace it with
roster,
Bo Atkinson.
that roster would perform better under this coaching staff than the roster that they have now.
Well, if you're talking about this coaching staff, I would say yes.
That's what I'm saying.
The roster that they have right now, I don't know if we'll be able to say yes or no until we see them. That's the only thing, because we don't know what a Price Yates looks like at North Carolina under Bill Belichick. We don't know what a Melcart looks like under Bill Belichick, or a Gavin Gibson, or Peyton Waters, or Kamari House. We don't know what these guys look like yet, so I can't say I like last year's roster better. Because if you look at Peyton Waters, and you look at or excuse me, Kamari House, more or less. You look at Kamari House. If you get a Thaddeus Dixon, a Gavin Gibson, those guys played really good for their respective schools last year. I mean, Thaddeus Dixon, best corner in the country. Currently right now as we speak in the transfer portal, he's the top guy. A lot of people want that guy. A Chad Lindbergh, who didn't give up a sack last year at all, which is huge on an offensive line. Yeah, he played at Rice, but Rice isn't playing softies every week. Rice is playing good talent. He was a a recruit and everything at Georgia. Georgia has some awesome talent. So it's really hard to see the field there. It is very hard to see the field over there. But he performed immediately over there. You got a couple of young guys in here that you're going to have to see how they do. Guys like Coleman Bryson, who will be a true junior, I believe, this year. Jason Robinson, the 5'10", 151-pound redshirt freshman, the wide receiver. Then you got a Zy Johnson, who went 16 passes for 276 yards last year, 108 yards after the catch. This is somebody that Mac Brown and the team wanted. You can't look at CJ Mims. I forgot about CJ Mims. A young Miles McVay. See how he does. A Connor Cox, Christo Kelly. You're very excited to see what these pieces can do, along with the recruits they have coming in. And this, obviously, it seems like this portal class isn't done yet. And you still got to get through spring ball and see what that looks like and everything else. So I'll say this. Last year's roster, or the last few years' roster, was if Bill Belichick had been the coach 5 years ago, all the way to now, and he would have had, not saying the roster changes one bit, let's say he had the exact same roster all the way through, I do believe, and I could be proven wrong by Bill, in 9 months from now, 10 months from now. But I do believe North Carolina doesn't go 6-7 when they're ranked 10th in the country coming in preseason. They have a Heisman quarterback at 9-1 in the season, and they finish 9-5. I don't think they start 6-0 in a season and end 8-5. I don't think they end 6-7 in this last year, even with the roster that we had. And clearly somebody must have liked Jacoby Criswell, not the people that we know. Not our fan base. They don't like Jacoby Criswell, but evidently the SEC must have liked him because SEC's talking to him. Don't know who yet. I haven't got the details on who that team is, but somebody in the SEC wants him.
Vanderbilt.
Not a bad squad. Not a bad squad. They have turned that program around really fast. They've put themselves from a dumpster fire into they beat Georgia Tech in was it Georgia Tech that they beat? Yeah, they beat Georgia Tech in the bowl game. And ended their season positive. Boom. There you go. So if I was Jacoby Criswell, and he seems like he's a pretty smart guy, Vanderbilt might be a good spot for you if that's the place. But obviously, I think this team I think we're having a different conversation at this time, right now. But I will say, with understanding you don't have obviously Elijah, Travis had a chance to stay. Him not staying says something to me. We'll see if it's true or not. I'll put you this way. If he is a starter for Texas next year, all games, every game, then it'll surprise me. It would surprise me. He had a chance to stay, and he would have been a clear starter here. I mean, everybody knows that. That's a duh. But he wanted to go to Texas. Texas wanted him. That's cool. We'll see how that goes. All the best to him. Ain't nothing wrong there. But obviously, knowing you don't have Elijah, Kamen, Dez, I would love to see if anybody gives him a chance in the NFL. I'm sure somebody will give him a shot on like a practice roster just because of his size and the thought of what he could be. People like experimenting with that kind of size, and that he has shown speed at times. That's for sure. Power Eccles, I'll be curious to see what happens there. I like Power. I think Power's a good linebacker, personally, or he's a good ACC linebacker at least. We'll see what the next level calls for. We don't know, but I think if you add Thaddeus Dixon to this, I think that changes that. I think Thaddeus Dixon could be a bigger Elijah Huzzie. He's shown that. This isn't something I'm just saying out of the wazoo. I mean, Thaddeus has shown that he could be like a bigger version of that guy, which would be great, be awesome. And you still have Marcus Allen. That's a big time thing. And Marcus Allen has got to be over here just jumping for joy, like, oh, thank God. Probably his last. This should be his last year, right? I think it should be his last year.
Technically, this year could be his last year.
Yeah.
The year that just finished.
Yeah. I feel like he would have announced, which more people like. I saw Bryson Nesbitt announce he was doing the combine or anything or declaring for the draft. Nothing. I haven't saw anything from anybody outside of the few people that we've talked about. So.
Well, I think they're out of eligibility. So I mean, they don't got no choice.
Yeah, but I feel like they would have already like announced, like, "Hey, I'm declaring for the draft," like Nate McCullum did. Like McCullum's out. Like Stick Lane is out of eligibility. McCullum's out of eligibility. Ritzy declared before. He was out of eligibility too. But he declared. He was the first one to declare. But I will hold to say whether or not the roster is better last year or this year after I see the team play. And I think I just have to keep it that way. because right now as a portal class, we don't know what this team's going to look like collectively. Collectively, it could be great or it could be really bad. We don't know yet. We will have to see when it happens, and who's also coaching these guys. And coaching hires are coming through more and more each day. Um, I think everybody's kind of waiting to see how this thing is going to end up over there with that. And I know our friend over there, AJ, Andrew Jones, and THI, and Inside Carolina as well. All of them are looking forward to when North Carolina has a media person that will actually disseminate to the masses what's happening, who they can
Yeah.
contact, all this, that, and the fourth, because I know it's been pretty difficult for them. You got me yawning over here, dude. Let me cut
Well,
that the
first of
fuck
all,
out.
you yawned first, then I yawned, then you just followed me.
I don't think so. I think you tried to put me up under your spell or something, and I don't appreciate it. But I really like the additions that have come in the portal. And the reason being is each one of these players, when you look at them on film, they play with edge to them. You know, that energy that a Bo Atkinson brings, that a Kamen Rucker would bring, I'm not even saying like, you know, obviously Kamen would just run through people, but just like the energy that he brings, that energy I'm seeing consistently through these guys. Now the young people, like the young freshmen, like the Miles McVay, the Peyton Waters, um, where's it, Jason Robinson. These young guys, we'll have to see because we don't have any film on them yet. We don't know what they look like, but I do like so far what these other guys. And if you bring in Thaddeus, that's another guy that plays with some serious edge to him. Gavin Gibson, a guy that plays with just tenacity, man. Just I like that personally. I'm gonna mute you. Do
My
you need to
nose
go?
is just
Do you need to go handle that?
no, it's my ears. My ears are just like not synchronized. So I'm trying to like
Well, I'm gonna turn that off for a little bit and let you figure out whatever you need to do to get resynchronized. I got you muted. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this thing ends up shaping up. I'm actually looking forward to spring practice, seeing how that's going. Really quickly, as a matter of fact, let me hop back over here on the Twitter machine. So I mentioned that Armand is joining the North Carolina Tar Heels. That is the defensive backs coach that coached under Steve Belichick, and he's already got his brand new profile prick going on there. Him and like photoshopped and like some North Carolina stuff, which is pretty cool. But also offensive line coach Will Friend.
yeah, Will
Uh,
Friend, my friend Will.
he
You know what I'm
was
saying?
the offensive coordinator at Western Kentucky. As a matter of fact, there is the Hilltoppers. They were actually pretty decent this year. I need to contact because we are affiliates. Since we're affiliated with the College Huddle, there are some Hilltoppers that that people that cover the Hilltoppers pretty consistently. Really good programming and production over there from them. And I need to see how they liked Will Friend. But he worked with Western Kentucky last year, offensive coordinator. But he's also worked at Auburn, Mississippi State, and Tennessee, and also Georgia at times. Uh, as the offensive line coach and everything. So Miles McVay is pretty excited about that hire. He's got a tweet right here saying "we cooking" with a big flame emoji there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this. What do you say to Belichick taking his time to fill out this roster?
Roster or coaching staff?
Coaching staff. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes, coaching staff.
I don't know. Inside Carolina had had a thing on it. He uses the reasoning that teams are still playing in the playoffs, whether that be NFL or college. But then people's asked the questions. Well, so in college, there's only two teams left: Ohio State and Notre Dame. In the
Mm-hmm.
NFL, there's only 8 teams left.
Yes,
Okay,
4 on each
so you
side.
got 10. You got 10 teams to choose some coaches from. So if he doesn't hire a coach from any of those 10 teams, then why you? What are we doing? I don't know. It's Bill Belichick. He's not very transparent on what he's doing and when he's doing it and how he's going to do
Right.
it. He just kind of does it.
Right.
So you wanted a new take on UNC football. Well, by golly, you're getting a new take on UNC football.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is something uh, that has been mentioned multiple times. I think Jason Staples has mentioned it as well. But he doesn't have to rush it. He can take his time, and he can, because recruiting wise, I think only I think I've only heard of like a couple of recruits that was saying anything about, hey, who's coaching me, and that being somewhat of an issue. But for the most part, people, it's Bill Belichick. We want to go be coached by this guy, and we trust him, and um, they're daggum, recruiting off the backs of him, and they can do that whether they have a full staff or not. But also, he can pick. I'm sure he has his pick of the litter of people that want to be there, want to coach under him. Steve as well, and Freddie Kitchens too as offensive coordinator. And you can kind of pick and choose and make sure that you're getting not only a great hire, but a something that clicks in with what you're trying to do. You don't have to take the first person that pops up and say, you know what, hey, we'll give it to you. I'm sure Mac had to do that when he came back to North Carolina. He had to kind of, okay, let me call up some of my old buddies and I'll just bring them back on because it worked before, it'll work again. I don't know anybody outside of potentially, outside of Lombardi, Steve Belichick, that have coached and or worked with Bill before. So this is all brand new to him. These are guys are brand new, so he's wanting to pick the right staff.
Yeah, yeah,
That's just me.
yeah.
That's just my takeaway on it. So I like the coaching staff that he's brought in so far. Couple of guys he brought in, like the sports and nutrition or the what's his name, strength conditioning. He coached under Bill before, and it's a good thing they have him already in place because, hey, we can go ahead and
Get
start
your
doing some other
swole
things.
on.
Right, you can get ready and get built up, and uh I wonder when that new gym will be built. I
Mm,
have a feeling very soon. I got a feeling that Cyrus all of a sudden, you know what? Hey, let's get that done. Um, Strength conditioning coach in there. There's one or two others that was in there from the Patriots days. I can't remember exactly who it is. Um, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Bill's going to do over there, and everybody trying to write him off back to the NFL. Piss off, just piss off.
PP and toilet. Bye bye.
Yeah, I can't stand that. It's just that's the last thing I'll say on this is I've been saying it over the last few days. Actions speak louder than words. And if Bill Belichick was going to go back to the NFL or even entertain it, why in the world is he on the road day in and day out? Why is he in DC and Baltimore right now? Daggum recruiting. Why is he on the roads going to high school, from high school to high school to high school, driving up and down the interstates and highways and byways of the great state of North Carolina, talking to kids, telling them what's up. Even kids that didn't even want anything to do with North Carolina, he's doing that. Who are like, oh, yeah, we're going to rule out North Carolina. And all of a sudden, UNC might be a place to go to. Just saying.
Maybe not.
Just saying. All I got to say. Actions speak louder than words, baby. Anyway.
Yeah, they do.
If you're done, I'm done. It's a great episode. It's the first episode that we've done of the podcast in a very long time. It's good to be back doing it. And you guys getting these things weekly. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys right now. Next week, it won't just be us. We're going to have AJ, Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated with us to next week. We're going to talk to him a little bit about the basketball team and football team and get his thoughts and opinions, maybe some insight to what's going on the inside. And that's going to be a special just for you guys. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that because I know we are. Love AJ, love what they do over there at THI, and can't wait to chop it up with him one more time. Also, a former fellow Rams fan as well, as my Rams go up there and try to take care of a blizzard in Philadelphia.
Yeah, so if you made it this long, you got some inside scoop on what's next week.
There you go. So anyway, I'm getting out of here. You're getting out of here. We're going to go to bed because you done put me to daggum sleep, you animal. So thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Dude, I'm usually asleep by now. 6:30 waking up these kiddos is early. Especially when you got to wake up 2 more times during the night to, get little fella a bottle.
Oh, yeah. He needs him one of those. It shouldn't be too much longer now. He'll be making them himself.
That would be the day.
Get him a little mini fridge. We'll put the little mini fridge in the bedroom.
Yeah. Just reach over, half asleep, crack the fridge. Here you go, fella.
Now he just get up. He have like little stairs at the end of the bed. He walks down, and you wake up and hear something. And he's got his little mini fridge open. And he's over here like he's daggum drunk, like he's drinking a beer. Oh man, little dude, just turned 1. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. Missed the wild hair though. Wild hair was fun. The wild
dude,
hair.
If you we have a picture of his hair that's wild after it's got a haircut. I think Ashley's got it. I'll have to get her to send it to you.
Oh man, I love his little.
It's wild.
Hair. Yeah, it's awesome.
Fresh out of the bed. Fresh out of his little bed. Just hair everywhere.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude. Anyway, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you all for being here. If you are on Spotify, be sure and go check us out over there on YouTube. You can go check out more of the content as we post videos consistently, letting you guys know about football, basketball. Well, not really basketball. But we're going to get back into more swing of things.
Hey, basketball, we're back.
Basketball is something I'm actually getting ready to tackle right here the second we're done with this. Got a basketball video coming out for you guys on Friday. So if you're on Spotify and you're listening to this, go over to the YouTube channel, check out that basketball video. It's going to be about Jalen Washington and what he's been up to as of late. Keep it locked to UNC and the Tar Heels and everything that's going on. That's why I say UNC, because everything is happening. Not just basketball, not just baseball, not just football. It's everything that's going on right now. Be sure and follow us on Twitter, on X. I still call it Twitter. I'm forever going to call it Twitter. On Instagram and also on Facebook. Go to all 3 of those platforms. Look up Hill Brothers. Click follow and go to the next one. And just follow us on everything because we try to keep you guys updated with everything that's happened as much as possible. Anyway, Alan, any thoughts before we get out of here?
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
There you go. Anyway, and it's a happy birthday to Alan. So if you made it to the end, be sure and put in the comments it's a happy birthday to Alan. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always, go Heels.
Go Heels.
And Rams.